Hey, howdy, friends. It's Steve DePoe here with the Rose Realty team. Hey, I hope you had a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Here's your first vlog of 2025. And like I've said now far too many times, we're going to do the first maybe couple of months here, maybe 3 months, depends. We're going to do like basically helpful hints on how to price your home, how to get it ready, maybe some of the, maybe repeat some of the stuff we've done over the last couple of years about maybe staging or improvements, those kinds of things. But we want you to be ready for 2025 mentally you and your family are ready to move on to that next house, upsize, downsize, out of state, coming into state, whatever it is, because we want you to be ready because all of the indications that we have in our industry indicate that 2025 is going to be a better year than 24 and 23. Okay. And so we want you to be ready and not kind of caught flat-footed when you say, hey, it's time to sell our house. And well, geez, it's going to take us 4 months to get ready. And then we've missed the window, right? And the prices have come up and you're priced out of the market. And we don't want that to happen. So we want you to be ready moving into 2025 here. And so first vlog for this year is how to determine the right price for your home. So let's get into it. So pricing your home is a I'm gonna call it probably 90% science and maybe 8% art. Okay, it's important to get the right price for your home and to price it correctly. Number one, it attracts buyers and avoids your house, sitting on the market. So, those people that kind of come to us and say, G Steve or G Rose, I need X amount out of my house. Well, that's great. We'd love to get it for you and more. Okay. But the truth of the matter is your house, number one, the value of your house is only as good as the value that somebody will pay for it, number one. And number two, it's only as good as the house itself, the house makeup itself, right? So you can't price your house if you're at 3,000 square feet and three bedrooms and two baths. You can't price it like it's a 6,000 square foot house with five bedrooms, and four and a half baths. It's just not going to work, okay, that way. So what we do is we make a determination based upon your neighborhood, the house, the age, the upgrades, the number of rooms, the square footage, number of garage spaces, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we then to make the determination of how much your house is worth. Can we go a little bit higher? Yeah, probably, but we wouldn't recommend it. Our sort of goal would be to price it just a smidge below market value, okay, so that we get multiple offers, and then we get people coming in, and then we drive the price of your house up above what that market value could potentially be. Okay, so it's easier and better to move up in terms of getting more for your home than it is to basically to come down. Okay, because if you price it too high, what'll end up happening is people will look at it and say, well, these people are unrealistic. They're not going to be able to be flexible in terms of negotiation. So we're going to move on to the next house. Okay. Basically, that happens. We can do all the marketing we want. We can do all of the open houses that we want. We can do all the giveaways, and we're not going to budge. People will not budge on that, on that price. They'll figure, again, the homeowners, the sellers aren't realistic, and so we're going to move on to the next house. And they're going to tell their agent that, and their agent's going to know the same stuff that we know, okay, because they have the same numbers and figures and tools that we have, and so they're going to say, hey, they're priced 25,000 above market value. Let's move on. Enough of that. Okay, some of the top mistakes sellers make when pricing their home. They overprice it, which is what I just said, or they ignore the competition. Okay, so unless here's a good example. Okay, if you have two identical houses and two identical properties, okay, let's just say side by side or just down the street from one another, and one has a pool and one doesn't, then that one with the pool, sure, should be priced, should and can be priced higher than the one without the pool. Okay. However, if you have two identical houses and they're both on the market at relatively the same time, within a couple of months of one another, there's no reason why one should be $50,000 more priced higher than the first one. Okay, there's no reason. Okay, because again, what agents are going to do, and what we're going to do when we suggest a price for your house, is we're going to go there and we're going to say, hey, the house down the street just got an offer, has been on the market for X number of days or weeks, blah blah blah. And we took a look at that house, and your houses are identical, same conditions, same number of rooms, same square footage. There's no reason why you should be priced $50,000 above them, except for the fact that you want the extra 50 grand, right? People are going to look at that and people are going to say, hey, for this neighborhood, that house is too high, or that house is too high compared to the other ones in the market who are competition to this house. And again, so why should we argue, and why should we get into a conversation with the seller because they're unrealistic about the price of the house? It's going to happen. That's the way it happens. Okay. Think about houses that have sat. It's houses in your neighborhood when you're sitting back and you don't really care. You're living in your house and you're real happy and all of that kind of stuff. And the house of your friend around the block, down the street, around the corner, their house is just sitting and then sitting. But the houses around them are selling. Why is it? It's because of the price. That's what it comes down to: price and location. If we're talking about the same neighborhood, location that doesn't factor in, but the price does. And the price is going to be determined about what the stuff you have in your house, number of rooms, square footage, bathrooms, etc., compared to the market. And that's the thing that's going to drive people to your front door, to make offers, and what's going to keep people away. So before we continue, hey, as always, hey, please go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ at moving to Dallas, Texas. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. These first couple of months are going to be real important to you. Like I said, we're going to be talking about how to price your house and where to look for a house. And we're going to start talking about new construction, et cetera, et cetera. Things to add to your house, staging, updates, upgrades, new houses, new different communities, etc. And so if even got an inkling, even a thought in the back of your mind percolating a little bit, that's a small ember right now that could grow into a raging inferno. How do you like that for an analogy? These first 2 3 months are going to be real important to you. You'll have access to all of those current and past vlogs that I've done, in addition to other videos that we've created. And so I think moving into 2025 here, this being the first vlog for 2025, it's going to be real important for you to keep abreast of the market and what's going on out there. And it'll benefit you in the long run. We appreciate you for watching, and we thank you for subscribing to our channel. Hey, next, using comparative market comparables to determine the value of your home, analyzing the comps in the area. So look, here's what we do. Okay, we mean real estate agents, not only us, but obviously the competition and people, the other agents that we work with, etc. What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the competition in the neighborhood, and that's going to determine the value of your home. Okay, high, low, medium, whatever. And so when we when we come in and we tell you that your house is worth 400,000, it's not because we like you or we dislike you or we don't like the color of your house or whatever. It's because the competition in this particular area, the comparables say that the price for this house, the price for your house is going to be $400,000. That's what it comes down to. Now, if and we'll show you those facts, okay? If you have another agent who comes in and says, "Hey, I think it's 450," then I like to know where they got their data from. That's an important thing that you should ask. If you don't work with us and you're working with somebody else, a cousin, a friend, a daughter, whatever, you should ask where did you get that information from? Okay. And if they say, well, I pulled it out of the air, that's the number you wanted, whatever, that's great, but that's not going to help you sell your house. Okay. And so what we do is we look at the competition, we look at the neighborhood, and then all of that's going to be that's all that's going to determine what the value or what the price of your house should be. Now, what does that mean if you have four bedrooms and everyone else has three? Well, we have numbers, we have calculations, we have analyses that we can do that's going to determine, hey, they've got an extra bedroom, bam, that means X amount of money. They've got an extra bathroom, bam, that means raise in price. They've got um, they've got a bigger backyard, they've got an extra garage, you've got an updated kitchen. All of that figures into the price. That's where the art kind of comes in. That kind of figures into the additional price to the house. Okay, so if you've got all those things and the neighborhood's going for about 400,000, and you've got an extra bathroom and an extra updated kitchen, let's just say, then yeah, maybe you go from 400 to 425 or 450. Okay, making those numbers up. And so all of that is an part of the analysis, part of the calculation, and it's not something that again we just pick a number out of a hat. We put a lot of effort into both Rose and I come from analytical backgrounds, okay, and so we don't struggle, but we pour over the numbers, okay, to determine what the price of the house should be. And I can't tell you how many times. I mean, we don't lose many listings, okay, but I can't tell you how many times of those listings that we lose, the highest percentage, the very high percentage, like 80, like 90%, 80, 90%. Eventually, if we end up losing that listing, the house will sell at the price that we would have set for that house. So either agents are using our numbers, to come up with a price, or they're starting up high and then they're coming down to our number, bam, it sells. Okay. That's actually what happens. We also get stubborn when we set a price for a house and people are saying it's too high, it's too high, it's too high. We we will write it out because we know that we got the right number, we did the right analysis, and so we do an analyses and comps in the area to make sure that your house is priced right for your neighborhood and your area and your town and that kind of thing. And that's how we kind of come up with that number. Some of the factors, like renovations, upgrades, to your house, we factor all in. One of the things that buyers over maybe the last 3 or 4 years, they didn't want to do the renovations or upgrades themselves. Yes, there's a subset of people who say, yes, I'll buy your house on the cheap and I'll do the renovations myself. But the large majority, something like, I'm going to say 85 to 90% of the people who buy houses today want move-in ready, don't want to do the renovations, especially when they come from out of town. Okay, we know that we get 150 to 200,000 new people to the Metroplex every year. And the large majority of those people want to move in and want to get into their lives. They don't want to do the renovations because they don't know anybody in the area. Okay. They don't know whether they should go to Joe's Roofing or T-Rock, one of the best roofers in the Metroplex, to do their roof because they don't know anybody. Okay. And we make recommendations, but it's all that warm fuzzy feeling that they don't have because they don't know people in the neighborhood. So they want a house that's in move-in ready condition. So the renovations that you do, the upgrades that you do, even the little things that you do to the house that we'll help you with are important when you're setting the price and you're selling the house. And finally, again, I've kind of mentioned this a couple times, the role of the comparative market analysis and pricing your home. We use the CMA all the time to create that price for your home, and we make accommodations for an extra room, an extra bathroom, an extra garage, a larger outdoor space, a renovated kitchen, an updated master bath, that kind of thing, right? And so we make accommodations for that to set the price for your home. Okay, it's not just a a dart on a dartboard. It's we do a lot of analyses, and for those of you out there that are in technology or accounting or engineering, we use a lot of analyses in our setting the price for a home. We use a lot of analyses to make sure that we're right. We've got the right number for you, so that your house sells as quickly as possible, and for the most amount of money and for the right price. Um, we go through a lot of effort for that. So, as the first vlog of the year, I hope that was helpful in setting the right price for your home. You get an idea that again, it's just not witchcraft or black magic. We do a lot of effort. We set a lot of effort and do a lot of work in setting the right price so that your house sells quickly and for the right price. Hey, next week we're going to talk about home seller tips on what to do and what not to do. Again, that goes along with the with our theme here of getting you into selling your home and getting you into a new home in 2025. This is Steve. I am with the Rose Realty team. So long.